Welcome back to Parks and Relaxation, day 5 of our 30-day cross-country trip. Today we're going to show you the Grand Tetons, Jenny Lake, and then Flag Point Campground. We got up about 7:30 the next morning to head over to the Grand Teton National Park. This is some drone footage of the campground that we stayed at for free called Ocean Lake. I detailed this in the previous video if you want to click on that to get information on how to camp here for free about an hour and a half away from the national park entrance. The trip from Ocean Lake, Wyoming to Grand Teton National Park entrance is quite the hike. It's about an hour and a half, but the problem is elevation changes by about 6,000 feet over the course of about 150 miles. Though the trip is a hike, it's well worth it. There's all sorts of desert towns, mountain towns, lakes, streams, rivers, and national forests that you get to drive through. This was our favorite town. It was so rustic and old, and everything was family owned. We decided to get gas and check out this town for a few minutes as we drove through. Did a time lapse. We did take our time because our RV is so large and the elevation was pretty intense on it. We were only able to go about 55 miles an hour at the fastest and spent most of the time about 40 miles an hour. You can take large rigs because the road is wide enough and there's no clearance issues. It's just so hilly that it eats up your gas. And you'll want to make sure you fill up with gas before you get into the park, just because there's not very much gas in the park, and when you do find gas, they want over like $3-4 a gallon when everywhere else is only like $1.50. Entrance into the park was $35. About 15 minutes into the park is Jenny Lake. Jenny Lake is one of the many waterways inside the park. The national park offers a shuttle service across the lake that takes about 20 minutes. It's $18 for adults, $15 for seniors, $10 for children, and there's no fee for anybody under 2 years old. Grand Teton National Park is over 480 square miles, which includes major peaks along the 40-mile Teton Range. Grand Teton National Park is only 10 miles south of Yellowstone. This area sees over 3.4 million visitors a year, so planning your adventure and arriving early is very important. Grand Teton is over 13,000 feet at its summit. The park has numerous lakes, including Jackson Lake, Jenny Lake, and Snake River. Some of the rocks in this mountain range are some of the oldest found in any American national park, dating over 2.7 billion years old. This area is known for mountain climbing, hiking, fishing, and boating. We had two main goals today: to see Inspiration Point and check out Hidden Falls. The shuttle brings you right across the lake and brings you to the head point for both locations. We were able to get a family pass for $50 to get us all on the boat, the four of us. If you choose not to spend the money on the boat, there is a path that brings you all the way around the lake, but you need to add about 3 hours of hike time to get to the starting point to then hike another few hours. Shuttle services run every 15 minutes until about 7 o'clock at night. The scenery on this whole day was so beautiful, it almost was hard to believe it was real. When you get off the shuttle, a park ranger explains to watch out for bears and to stay on the trails. They do offer bear spray inside the welcome center, but it's almost $60 a can, so you might want to pick it up at Walmart ahead of time. We got on this trail, hiked for about 10 minutes, and saw a waterfall. We were thinking, man, that was pretty easy. But it turns out this isn't Hidden Falls. This is just a random waterfall. I'm about 95% sure every single person thought this was Hidden Falls. So what you need to do is walk past this and go another maybe 45-minute hike following this trail, and then you'll actually get to Hidden Falls. Along this waterfall, there are about 6 or 7 little trails along the edge that can get you down to the bottom, so you can get better pictures and video. Since everybody thought this was the main waterfall, it was very busy in this area. We didn't stay here for very long because it just seemed like obviously there's more to the trail. One thing that we still remember about this park is the smell of pine. The kids are playing on the pine trees and the roots. Even part of the river was kind of tinted a little brown color, I think, because of all the sap. The trail starts off nice and easy, wide, with no elevation changes, and about 5 to 10 minutes into the hike past that first waterfall, you start to really feel that you're climbing the side of a mountain. There's roots sticking out, you kind of got to pull yourself up in a couple spots. However, with some water and a few breaks, it wasn't too bad. The bright side is every time you take a break, there's a wonderful view to look at. To the left, right before Hidden Falls, we noticed that there was what looks like a rock slide that had come down. We decided we're going to climb that in a few minutes. Finally, we made it to our first destination. This was a much more impressive waterfall than the first one. Hidden Falls drops over 200 feet, and the water rushes down and creates mist. Obviously, we stopped to get some video, take some pictures. Next, me and the kids hiked up the rock slide. It took about 15 minutes to get about halfway up, and then we decided it's kind of hard to get back down. There were some great views from here, though. Here's a couple pictures. Next, if you backtrack about a half mile, there's a V in the road that brings you over to Inspiration Point. The trail follows the river on the opposite side and then goes straight up the side of a mountain. You'll definitely want to bring water for this portion. In no time, you'll find yourself walking up the side of a ledge that has quite the drop off. You'll want to make sure you have actual shoes, not flip-flops, as the rock can fall pretty easily. But you can notice in the background of even this video that you can start to see Jenny Lake and the surrounding area. It was about this time that we got a text from our other group saying that they were about finished with what they were doing and we needed to head back. So we walked up to the first lookout and got our views from there.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
We did have run-in with the local rodents.
It's like, no.
He's like, I get fed all the time.
That's a brave
I trust
little
people.
guy.
This is considered about halfway to Inspiration Point, and we had to call it good enough. Because we had to get back, we still had to take a boat ride, and then start heading into the next area. Honestly, we're pretty exhausted at this point anyway, so I don't know if I would have gone much farther, because you could see for at least probably 100 miles or so in any direction, even from this point. So, we hiked back down, waited for the shuttle, and headed back to the main launch point where there's a gift shop and this view right here. This was worth the money to get into the park alone. The kids' favorite part, I think, was the boat ride. We had some fun pictures and video, and great memories. Oh, and we got wet from the water shooting up at us. We consider that a bonus on a hot day. This is them pouting right after because we were trying to figure out where our campsite was going to be. Actually, we were just waiting for dinner. During dinner, we had decided that we needed showers, so we booked a campsite right in between Grand Teton and Yellowstone National Park. We had found free camping only about 15 minutes from where we were doing the boat ride, but we got there too late and all the free campsites were already taken because this is just such a busy area. The free camping does allow 14 days, so if you had more time, show up early one morning, set up camp, and then go do what you want to do. We didn't have that luxury. We did notice that all of our chips had almost exploded inside the cupboards because the elevation changes. That was kind of funny, but it was nice to have s'mores, a dinner around a fire, and showers. We will say that if you see firewood on the way into the park, you should definitely grab it ahead of time because it was quite pricey for a few pieces of firewood at the actual campground. Again, that campground is called Flag Ranch RV, and they had plenty of camping for $42.50 a night, which is a great deal compared to what's actually like family owned stuff, especially for full hookup and everything. If you enjoy this series, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Next stop is Yellowstone, and we also have some free camping tips in that area. Remember, don't wait, adventure today.